Have you been endlessly applying for jobs for months now and not seen any real traction? Well, then this video is probably for you. If we haven't had a chance to meet, hi, my name is Kim. I am a career advancement expert, and I help professionals like you land higher paying jobs without stress. So, as someone who's currently a big tech recruiter and with over 10 years of talent acquisition experience, I can safely say that I have seen my fair share of resumes. And over the last decade, I have seen some really standout resumes and a lot of resumes that just don't make the cut. I understand that we are in a very competitive job market right now, and you may feel like I have all these great skills. Why is no one calling me for an interview? So, I have compiled a list of the 5 things that I tend to see in top tier candidate resumes that get them hired faster. So, the first thing that you want to make sure that you do is you want to optimize your resume real estate. Well, Kim, what does that mean? What is resume real estate? I'm glad you asked. So, much like with any document, there is a flow that people tend to read them. And in Western culture, we read from the top left hand corner and scan to the right. Recruiters in Western culture, we read resumes the exact same way. So your top resume real estate is going to be at the top of the document where the eye naturally goes first. So here are some things that you want to make sure you remove from that portion of the resume in order for us to optimize that real estate and repurpose it instead. So, first off, you probably want to remove your picture. Now, there are some cultures or possibly industries where that might be the standard to include a picture of yourself. So, if that is the case in either of those instances, follow that guidance. But generally speaking, for those applying to roles in the United States or just Western culture in general, I would remove any sort of image. Next thing I would also remove is any specifics within your address. City and state are absolutely fine, but you don't need PO box number or anything like that. Wasting necessary space. The third thing that I think is wasting some space on your resume is an objective statement. It's obvious, I think, that if you're applying for a job, the objective is to probably get that job. So remove objective statement, not necessary. We can fill that part of the resume with far more impactful data about your experience, which leads me to point number 2, which is the relevant accomplishment section. As a recruiter, this is my favorite part of someone's resume. And that is because the relevant accomplishment section is where a candidate is able to show previous instances where they were successful to show how they can be successful in this new job. Because the person who gets the job is not the one who is the most qualified. It's the one who is best able to communicate that they are the one to solve the problems that employer is experiencing. And the best way for you as a candidate to express that is through your past experiences. So remove objective statement. Instead, relevant accomplishment section where you highlight 3 to 4 relevant accomplishments that are aligned to the problems that this new job would be solving. Third thing to include are keywords. Now, this is going to look different than what other people are telling you. This is not to get past the bot. This is also not a keyword bank. What this is looking at the job description. And if you're applying to a lot of jobs right now, take inventory of a lot of the consistent keywords you're seeing in the different job descriptions you're applying to and use that language in your resume. You're not creating a bank, you're not hiding keywords. What you're doing is using shared industry terms in your resume that are within the accomplishments that you are sharing. Let's say you apply to this job, you're not given a call. Now, Kim, the recruiter, gets a new job. I go through the old applicants and put in a keyword search aligning for the role. that I'm looking to fill. And I think, well, maybe they're still interested in coming to such and such company. So I call you or I send you an email because I have done a keyword search and you come up in my database. You see, your resume stays in the applicant tracking system. And so it's searchable for future jobs. And any recruiter that's worth their salt is going to go into the previous applicants and look at those folks because if you were interested once, it's likely that you're interested again. So that's how you strategically use the keywords. Third thing that these top tier resumes consistently show, and that is data driven evidence. Like I mentioned before, the person who gets the job is not necessarily the most qualified person. I know that it hurts to hear that, but remember this transaction, employee to employer, is about employer, I have this problem. Employee, I have this skill set, knowledge, education that can address that problem you're trying to solve. The best way for a candidate to show that they can solve that problem is through data driven evidence. You want data driven accomplishments. So you will include data. You see, you are showing here was the problem, baseline problem. I took these steps. I did one, two, three actions, resulting in this result. You're giving us numbers and you're giving us your mini strategy because it's only a bullet point, followed by ending numbers. That is the difference between someone who's seen as, oh, they can just execute the tasks versus, oh, this person can really move the needle, which is the perfect segue into the next thing that really makes someone stand out in a resume. And that is a well crafted bullet point. Like I mentioned, you are going to have data driven evidence within your resumes, and you need that within your bullet points. I can't tell you as a recruiter how many times I'll read a resume and it reads just like a list of tasks. First, I do this, then we do a stand up, and then I look at the time cards, and then I do this, and it just feels like rinse and repeat. And the whole time that I read a document like that, I think, and then what? So, the fifth thing that really makes a candidate stand out in their resume is a well crafted bullet point. Now, Kim, we've just talked about the relevant accomplishment section. How is that different than the bullet points? So, the relevant accomplishment section is going to be where you, as the job seeker, say, if we are looking at the things that I know will be the stand out experiences that say, I can solve the problems that you're trying to solve, I'm going to pick those and I'm going to include them at the top. But if you have additional tasks, responsibilities, additional things to share within the other work experiences that's showing chronologically what you have done in your past experience, you're going to include those as bullet points. Once again, we are not writing them as tasks. We're not stopping at the transactional portion of what you did. You are including detailed information that's data driven that also talks about scope, scale, and impact. You're talking about all of those things within that bullet point. These are the five things that I really see stand out candidates consistently show in their resumes. This account to follow. I would love to see you back here again. Thanks for stopping by and happy job hunting. Bye bye.